Probably the best brow advice I could give you is that your brows can never be symmetrical. Please stop adjusting, over tweezing, and over waxing your brows to achieve that symmetrical, even look. Unfortunately, it's never gonna happen. And what is gonna happen is now what you're gonna have is skinnier, more unbalanced, unsymmetrical brows. So how do we achieve the illusion that our brows are a little bit more symmetrical when they naturally aren't on anyone? Here are my tips for that. And I'll show you. Even I have unsymmetrical brows. We all do. So I always carry dental floss with me. And I'm gonna let you know, this is my left one. Look how much higher it sits than my right. Typically, everyone has a higher, more arched left brow and a lower, more straight right brow. That's typical, okay? My husband is the opposite. His higher one is in his right. But for the most part, our left one is the more skinnier arched and our right one is the lower straight. So going back to the dental floss, and you can see how much higher that is. Sometimes I will have clients sit up in my chair and they'll be like, well, wait a minute, they're not even. I'm like, well, of course they're not even. If you want me to make them even, this is how much I would have to get rid of. Believe me, not having that brow will look way worse than them being a little bit uneven. We're not gonna do that. We're not going to adjust by waxing and tweezing for our brows to be more even sitting and symmetrical on our face. And that's what I'm seeing, is people doing these minimal but drastic things to their brows to try and achieve that. And at the end of the day, you can't. It's just the way your brows sit on your face. Every now and then I do get 4 units of Botox, just in this one, to lift it a little bit. And what I do is minimal makeup adjustments to help them sit a little bit more even and more even and arched. That's my goal. Is I want my brows, remember my parallel method, I want my brows to run parallel with each other and be even in thickness, not even in how they sit. So I'm coming in on my right and I'm gonna do my quick little hair-like strokes where my brows start. And I'm not gonna do anything underneath there because this one sits lower. What I am going to do is I'm going to outline and do a little bit more of an arch on the lower, more straight one, and then come down to where my tail's in, and then a few hair-like strokes just to thicken up that color. Really, really minimal. But you can see that I've done a little bit more of an outline on the top part of my lower brow. See how that already increased? I don't want to see that line, so all I'm going to do is just lightly tap. It is minimal adjustments. Learn that from me. Minimal, precise adjustments to your brows. Done. And you could already tell that it's sitting a little bit higher now to match this one. All right, so now on my higher, more arched brow on my left, I am lacking just a tiny bit right in there, but I don't want to accentuate the top part of the arch. I just want to add a little bit of color to where I'm lacking in hair on my arches and tails, but I don't necessarily want to outline it. Also, this one naturally comes to a peak where this one is a little bit more rounded. So what I can do is very lightly make this one a little bit more rounded of an arch, and I made this one more of a peak. I am merging the two together. Then you can still see that this one is higher, and then also my arch is a little bit skinnier. So I'm gonna come at the opposite, and I'm going to outline and drag down just the bottom part of the center of my arch. And I'm lightly going back and forth. Again, minimal adjustments. And you notice that I didn't do the centers in this one. Like I could do 1, 2 like hair strokes, but really I don't really need to. So focus in on where you need and where you don't need. And we're slowly getting there. This one is still a little bit thicker, but I don't want to wax off my lower thicker brow just to match this. I would rather add a little bit more of an outline to the bottom of this one and then tap so you can't see that line. Okay, we're almost there. Now, last, what I'm gonna do is do my highlight in my lower straight brow. We're doing the opposite of what they need to merge them together. So whenever you do the highlight, you're lifting your brows up. You're brightening your eyes and lifting your arch. So just adding a little bit of highlight to my lower arch. Last, I'm gonna finish it with my brow pomade to help those hairs do a little comb over effect. Brush those hairs in a back comb and then set. Yes, it is still gonna sit higher. That's just how my brows sit on my face. If you wanna do just a few units of Botox, that will help. But now they look more even in structure of arch and even in thickness. And that's what I'm going for.